squid, tapos yung pako, yung ano yung seafood, seafood, yung seaweed na parang bilog-bilog. Alam mo yun, Ron?
Yeah, I know that one.
Yeah. Tapos, nag-order rin kami ng steamed na talaba. Food siya, di ba? Tapos, so kain, habang, di ba? Kain kami. Food siya. So, okay, busog ako. Masaya. Nung gabi na yun, hindi na ako kumain. Pero the next day, I started feeling bloated, gano'n na. Tapos, wala na. Tapos,
Grabe
nung
pati yung inflammation sa katawan mo, that yung directly as a direct result of what you ate, instantaneous pala yung effect sa katawan mo talaga, no? Parang medicine.
well,
I think
hindi siya instantaneous, Ron, kasi the oysters hit me after a day pa.
oh,
So,
okay.
so, okay pa ako nun eh.
Kinabahan
Tapos,
pa ng sistema mo.
nung gabi ng Monday,
Wala
yun,
na.
dun
Kill.
ako. Oo, malamig na, gano'n, nag-fever na ako.
Alright, boys. Ready to
Yeah.
go. Here we go. Larga. Hey guys, welcome to Istoryang Futbolero. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back, Eric.
Thank you.
Mr. Eric Matraso. And Mr. Mikel Paris of Auntie Anne's. It's nice to spend another night with our Istoryang Futbolero viewers or viewership. Thank you so much for joining us this Monday. Another weekend has passed us by. I hope things went well and sana wala pong nagkasakit sa inyo noong weekend. Kasi parang lahat na yata ng buong Metro Manila at saka buong Pilipinas ay lumalabas na ngayon. Wala nang takot sa COVID-19. Si Mikel, inaasar niyo si Mikel.
Okay lang. Wala na.
Ano ka na?
Accepted
Pagod
ko
ka na sa kareklamo, Mikel?
Wala. Wala naman mapapala eh. So, bahala na kayo.
Bahala kayo sa buhay niyo.
Basta huwag lang kayo mamintang ng gobyerno pag nagkasakit kayo. Yun lang sa akin.
Tama. Wala. Parang nakalimutan na ng mga tao na meron pa tayong pandemya. Kasi I think it's very normal for people to think or have false sense of security when they see everybody going out already. Tsaka yung traffic, hindi na ganoon ka, back to normal yung traffic.
Yup.
So parang, alam mo, yung iniisip ko na lang, nilalagay ko sa typical Pinoy na pag-iisip na, wala na yatang pandemya, mukhang normal na lahat. At pero which is not really the real situation. Marami pang nagpapaalala pa rin ang government na hindi po kayo dapat magpabaya at you're supposed to wear masks and follow the basic health standards set forth by the DOH, which we will remind you later tonight after the program kasi hindi pa tapos ang laban. Although, Mikel, good news, or not really good news, it's something that people should know.
Nasa mo lang ako.
I think sa public transportation, once it finally resumes or once it's 100% back, there'll be a one-seat separation between passengers. So, bawal po yung sumasakay kayo sa bus, sa jeep, na may katabi kayo. Dapat magkahiwalay. Merong one seat apart. Kumbaga, parang sa school, di ba? One seat apart pag may exam. Para walang kopyahan. Yun, walang kopyahan ng virus ngayong pandemya, ha? Alright. Sorry, kamusta ka na, Rick? I know you you were under the weather last week. You weren't able to join
Yeah.
us. Sayang, hindi mo nakasama si Miss Celine nung Wednesday at nung
Oo.
Monday as well. Medyo na-miss ka namin ni Mikel. Yung
Yeah.
oo, yung bubbly personality mo, Eric. Ay,
Bubbly,
kulay.
Bola eh. Mikel. Well, nagka-stomach flu ako. And I was really feeling well. Mahirap pati tumayo lang. Medyo mabigat yung pakiramdam. But I'm all better now. Actually, fever broke the very next day. And okay na. Ever since, okay naman ako. So, yun.
Yeah, that's good to know. Wait, by the way, Mikel, before you come in, like I just like to let people know that Journally Payon, and remember the guy who used to work for ABS-CBN and nag-guest sa atin dati?
Yeah. Si Kuya
si Sir Jorn. Nakikinig sa
Kuya
atin.
Jorn.
Shout out, Sir Ron. Resume taping na kami ng Team BBL ng GMA. Listening to you right now.
Oh, wow. Congrats.
Congrats, happy for you.
Sir Jorn, paano naman? Baka gusto mong bumalik sa aming programa uli. Alam mo, medyo pipitsugin lang yung aming vlog, pero baka gusto mong sumali uli sa amin because you're a very interesting character. So, Sir Jorn, next time, kwentuhang ABS na naman tayo. Mukhang may
ABS.
May mga balita na may mga comeback. Oh, well, they did a comeback with Zoe TV, owned by Elarde, di ba? Si Villanueva. Okay, si Eddie Villanueva. The channel of what congregation is this, Mikel? Christ the King.
Hindi ko alam. Basta yung kay Senator Joel Villanueva ba yun? Yung sa family nila.
Oo, so may mga balita na may isang congressman na nagsabi na mag-apply daw sila ng prangkisa next year. Pinapangunahan na nila.
Go. Okay lang naman. Basta legit.
Basta legit.
Okay lang sa akin. Apply sila and hopefully mapayagan sila, mabigyan sila ng franchise, but they do it correctly this time.
Pero paano na lahat ng talent nila lumipat sa TV5?
Madali lang yan. Madali lang. Tatawid lang yun ng...
pero siyempre may contract yan, Eric. Si Vice ganda, di ba? Naging medyo controversial na yung mga comment niya kasi parang dinidis niya yung mga lumipat ng TV5. Kaya parang sino ba tong talent agent na si Lolit Solis, pare? Binanatan si Vice ganda. Kasi parang kala mo naman ito parang medyo maging humble ka naman. Siyempre may gusto din maghanap buhay itong mga kasama mo mga artista at mga talents, di ba? And they were given the opportunity. Bakit mamayabang ka ba na hindi mo i-accept yung offer sa iyo ng ibang station dahil gusto mong matigas na ABS-CBN talent ka? Di ba?
Oh, yeah, you need to pay the bills and feed the family.
Correct. Yep. Di ba? So si Alexander Pabruada is watching from Antipolo City. At saka sabi ni Julio, ating mga early birds. So ang topic, good evening. Topic po sa Istoryang Futbolero ngayon, red tagging. Wish mo sa Pasko at mga kinakatakutan mo sa Halloween at pandemya. So, lang po post your messages below. Tsaka paki-share po ng ating streaming tonight para mas masaya. Ganun po ang ating gawin at sana po ay kayo ay mag-enjoy sa aming programa tonight. Huwag po kayong mag-atubili.
Sure, gumagawa ang bagong words.
Oo nga, nagmagawa ng sariling words. Oh, by the way, nag-ano na ba kayo? Meron na ba kompleto na kayo sa ang tawag nito? Yung tags for your cars, yung RFID? Kasi
yes. Pero ang concern ko, I have a question. I even asked my idol James Deacon about it. What happens lang kasi diba November 2 yung deadline for everybody. Which is well and good. I think they gave enough time naman pero syempre yung demand whatever. But what happens if you buy a new car after that date?
Yun. Tama.
Because like naisip ko lang, like, why you buy a car, you have to take it onto the highway or whatever to bring it home or whatnot. Dapat sana kasi isama na nila like with the dealers na pag mabibenta yung dealer ng kotse,
RFID na.
part na sana siya. Or like even if you buy a second-hand car, di ba siya may mga hassle, transfer. Like I sold my car, so may mga transfer, ang gulo so it's such a hassle. Tapos yung mga pila-pila ngayon, yung traffic ngayon actually, karamihan, this is just correct sa C5 and is the line for the RFID.
Yeah.
C5 ba ngayon?
Which is funny.
C5.
Actually lahat sa Cavitex, sa SLEX, at saka sa NAIA X, and sa C5. Sobrang haba ng mga pila. Like, kilometers long.
Yeah.
And this is funny, and this is really Pinoy mentality, yung last minute mentality.
Oo
Diba?
Ganun tayo
Kasi, this was announced mga 2-3 months ago na, hindi na tayo wala ng cash. Deadline, November 3, 100% cashless na. Tapos tinan mo ngayon ang Pinoy, with 1 week left, ngayon na sila magpipila.
Pero meron din kasi mga ibang tao like bihira lang gamitin yung car nila on the road, like mga senior citizens or whatnot. And a lot of this kasi yung mga announcement na to nasa social media di ba, it comes out in mga Top Gear. So there's some people genuinely, madami talaga mga procrastinator talaga, mga last minute na pero may mga alam ako talaga, they had no idea. Like genuinely no idea na meron ng ganito. And I'm sure there will be so many people who will go on the road on those days not having a clue. Hindi naman na tinamad lang sila to do it. It's just hindi nila alam, di ba? Like, Batangas sila or something, bigla na lang sila, tara, outing tayo, biglang patay! So I'm sure there's gonna be some sort of contingency for that. Pero I don't know.
Yan din yung tanong ko rin kay James Deacon. Pero ewan ko kung nasagot niya. Yung
ni Mikel Kaya ni Mikel yan.
Paano kung kunwari, lang, one-time traveler ka lang, no? Kunwari, maglilipat ka from north to south.
You still have to have it daw. It's like so strict. Everybody has to have it cashless, no? Which is good. I think okay lang din naman na mag-cashless talaga, no? Kasi, pero isipin mo din, may mga mawawalan ng trabaho sa toll booths for sure. Yung mga crush nyo nakahera din sa toll booth, wala na yung mga yan. Although there still be some people there kasi kailangan pa rin ng human intervention because sadly, yung mga RFID na yan, they don't work as well. Ilang times na yung bago lang yun, biglang pagdating mo dun, ayaw mag-up, diba? Or issues with the balance. So there still be some people. But it's just, I think yung nakakatakot lang is we did it for safety, I think, no? Para wala ng cash transaction, COVID transmission. But by everybody rushing to go get their RFID stickers, lining up and doing all things, I think we may have inadvertently caused another. Although a lot of the lines naman is just people in their car waiting. But in some areas kasi bumababa sila, pumipila talaga to give the papers
Alam mo, Mikel, sa akin parang birth pains lang yan looking forward to the near future. I feel kahit na walang pandemya, kung lahat naka-RFID, I think things will be more efficient, di ba?
Actually,
diba? Mas mabilis yung flow of traffic.
I've always wondered, Ron, kasi kami forever na, ever since meron RFID, we've had it for our cars, sa mga company cars para mas mabilis. I've always wondered kasi pagdating mo, di ba, from SLEX, pupunta ka ng C5, di ba? Ang haba-haba ng pila for the cash and walang pila for the RFID. And I've always wondered, how come everybody else doesn't have RFID yet? Kasi hindi naman siya that complicated a process to get it. Actually, even before the pandemic, ginawa na nila na parang hardly any paperwork required Na pupunta ka na lang doon, didikitan ka nila. But it's just, people are stuck in their ways. Ayaw nila. Dami
alam
mga
mo, Mikel, isa lang
load.
Alam mo, sagot dyan. Parang yun, it's a question of what type of number you have for your mobile phone. Is it prepaid or postpaid? So in that sense, kung prepaid kasi karamihan kasi na ang iniisip ka ganila, ayoko maglabas ng 500 pesos, yun ang minimum you have to load your card 500 pesos. So medyo mabigat para sa iba. Or siguro
well, a lot of the people who have cars, I'd assume like 500, that seems to be a reasonable amount. Gagastusin nila yan sa inom, no issues yan, or sa kung ano nung kalokohan, no. It's just for me, if they make it, they have to make it easier.
Wala ka ba mga kilala na tingi mentality? Kasi Mikel, mayayaman yung mga
Oo,
kaibigan.
meron. Hindi pa. Even talk to
Hindi.
my guys. It's just that, like, ang tao naman, like, if you say to them na talagang required 500, gagawin, they always do that. Gagawin nila ng paraan yan. They pay more for other stupid things. They'll spend more of that on Lazada and Shopee than anything. Yung sa akin lang with the RFID, when they mandated it, sana lang they made sure they really had enough supply. And that it was easy. Kasi may time yan, even kami, early kami nagpagawa kasi I needed to get yung for Cavitex kasi I never really go to Cavitex naman, di ba? But I had to get that with sa Shell yan sa Magallanes. We had to send him back a few times kasi may mga times na uubusan ng sticker. So you have to go, like, even now, if you want to get your RFID, dapat before 7 a.m. nakapila ka na. And if somebody's working, it's not that easy to do, diba? So yun. That's why yung haba nga ng pila doon sa C5 and that lane going there kasi everybody's lining up to get that. Sa airport, sa NAIAX, pwede mo din. I mean, most of the toll booths naman pwede mong kuhanan. Tsagain mo lang talaga, pipila ka lang. Ang bigger concern ko is what happens after that date. Because I'm telling you now, madaming gagamit ng highway on those days na had no idea or they didn't get the sticker and they're just gonna still go on the road and we're gonna have an almighty mess.
Well, see, James Deacon, I think I saw one of his posts talking about going to an alternative place to get your this was for easy trip, easy pass,
Yeah.
easy trip.
The one in Cavitex.
Mas padali daw dun sa well, in-announce na niya, so baka mas marami na may pumupunta ngayon. Dun sa kung saan nagko-concert sa may Philippine Arena.
Bulacan?
Sa Philippine Arena na yung exit doon. Bukawi yata.
Bukawi.
Layo.
Doon daw, maluwag daw, wala masyadong tao kumukuha ng doon. No easy trip.
Talaga.
We were getting ours kasi dun sa Shell Magallanes. And it was okay. But then there was a point to sa Shell Magallanes, pinasara ng Magallanes Village kasi sobrang na daw yung traffic doon, sobrang dami auto. So I think it was last week or something, pinasara nila yung doon RFID situation. Because I'm sure, I mean, that Shell Magallanes is always so full anyway. Tas ngayon yung pa yung pilahan ng RFID.
Anyway, meron pong listahan na binigay ang concerned agencies. At I think ang nilabas lahat ng mga areas where you can go. Maybe we can post it on here.
Yeah.
So people can see. We will share all the information para yung mga taong may sasakyan at gustong kumuha ng yung dalawang RFIDs from the two providers. Kay Pangilinan pala yung NLEX tsaka yung Cavitex ba? NLEX Cavitex pa yung easy trip. Pati yung
Yeah.
And yung RFID naman, auto sweep sa South Super Highway. Yun naman yung Star Toll. Ramon Ang.
Saka may isa pa, SCTEX ba or something, one of those. Anyway.
May isa pa ba?
One of those.
Dalawa lang yun,
yeah. One up north. I think yung SCTEX or TPLEX, one of those. I can't remember which one.
Yeah. I mean, kung saan pwede kumuha o magpakabit or tollway.
Hindi, kung saan valid yung
Kasi hindi mo na kailangan i-register yung kotse mo eh. Dati kasi may mga requirements, diba? You have to bring your ORCR tapos i-register yung yung plate number na sasakyan mo. Ngayon, it's wala na. They just issue the card. Tapos they put a sticker on your windshield.
Pero sa iba kailangan pa rin, Ron, kuwari corporate accounts. Kuwari mga office cars or like sa amin, kasi lahat ng car na mga company car, diba? So, ganun, we had to send yung mga ORCR, mga ganun. Mabilis naman. It's not like, before, I remember, sobrang complicated ng process. Kukuha pa kami ng mga sex certificate, mga kung ano. I was like, oh my gosh. Para sa prepaid na But at least now, it's also easy to load, di ba? Kasi pwede ka mag-load 7-Eleven, pwede ka mag-load kung saan-saan eh.
Sa bangko, through BPI ako naglo-load ngayon.
Ako rin, BPI app. Merong dun eh.
No.
Meron doon.
For GCash, pwede ka rin mag-load through GCash.
May mga tao daw kasi bumili online sa Facebook Marketplace ng mga RFID. Yung mga ano, tapos ikaw na lang mag-install. Tapos may ano yun may instructions on how to do it. And a lot of people didn't really proper follow it. So pagdating dun sa toll, ang daming spam. So dahil may mga issues ngayon. So anyway.
Basta pag may time, mga kaibigan. Si Liza Lee from Camarin, Caloocan is listening to us from the other group. Si Ronald Guerrero from Angeles City, Pampanga, and Liza Lee.
Hi guys, good evening.
Hard na po talaga ang pagbabago according to Liza Lee. Alright, so let's start the discussion about yung red tagging, no? Kasi may gusto kong i-share screen sa inyo to kick things off our conversation about that with a quote from Secretary Anyo. Yun.
Yeah.
Sabi niya dito, hindi sila dapat ihanay sa mga terorista. These sectors, but it doesn't mean they are already terrorists. Hayaan natin silang makapag-express ng malaya. This is pertaining to celebrities Angel Locsin, Lisa Soberano, and Catriona Gray. Alright? Kasi may syempre naging issue yan kasi one of the members of the LCAC government, si General Palparan, di ba? Said something about the participation of one of the women there in a Gabriela talk that was done online. Si Liza Soberano. Yun, so naging issue yan. Let's probably take talk about the both sides of the argument about the red tagging issue. Maybe usapan na natin to Mikel before yung
natatakot na naman ako magka-death threat na naman tayo sa mga NPA.
Hindi, alam mo lahat ito talaga. Nagsimula ito. Tama naman yung point ni nagsalita rin si Secretary ng Foreign Affairs, si Teddy Boy Locsin, nagsalita rin yung pati ang Malacanang nagsalita na let's not do this because first of all there are a few people from government as well who are saying na you can't say these names and then associate them with the communists if you don't have proof, right? Yeah, but the problem is ito ang isang rin. I can understand also some people who are very adamant about their opposition towards the left and the communists is because of the fact that their leader, si Jose Maria Sison, it's actually documented. It's documented. It's on tape. It was recorded a few years ago when he actually mentioned all these legal fronts like Gabriela, like Bayan Muna. Sinabi talaga niya na mga legal front sila ng CPP-NP. So, ang very lenient nga ang gobyerno kung tutusin. Kasi if a guy like that says something and implicating a few of these supposed legit organizations as being part of the National Democratic Front, then, the government has all the right to actually investigate them. For how their direct participation in this group, which is obviously plotting for the last 50 years to overthrow the government, and that's against the law, diba? Pero actually, even run for Congress and they're being process. Eric?
Sorry, medyo yung internet ko. Did you have a question?
No, I was just saying that itong issue about red tagging. Red tagging, first of all, I think the people who are being accused of being part, like for example, si Representative Ilago, who is I think the first nominee for the Kabataan Party List.
That lady.
Bakit hindi nasagutin yung mga allegations about hurled against them, as to why they've been associated with the communists, and have they ever addressed that video that came out before ni Jose Maricison? Meron na ba
Kasi,
silang oh.
kasi Ron, one of the reasons why they're not answering or addressing that question was because there's no formal inquiry. Siguro once magkaroon ng formal inquiry, saka sila masasagot yan. Kasi, ano whether they answer that question or not right now, wala naman mangyayari, di ba? Kasi walang formal inquiry. Once magkaroon ng formal setting na talagang pinatawag sila, may investigation, sabihin natin sa Senate o whatever, NBI ba yan, saka sila sasagot ng kanilang kung ano may gusto nilang isagot. Magkakaroon sila ng formal reply or whatever. Pero right now kasi wala kasing formal inquiry. That's why, tahimik lang din sila. Okay, you can say what you want. Since walang formal inquiry, we'll just keep quiet. Bahala kayo dyan. Di ba? Ganun lang yun.
I just want to know kasi maybe I saw people who are watching right now, if you know anything about them having spoken about it, na hindi, mali yan si Maricison, ano lang yan, puro bola lang yan, dito to yung mga sinasabi niya. Hindi kami kasama dito sa bayan, hindi kami kasama dyan sa NDF o sa CPP-NPA. Hindi yan totoo, kalokohan yan, kasinungalingan niya ni Jose Maricison. Bakit na naman niya sasabihin niyan doon sa diba? Recorded pa. I mean, what was the point of him saying this? Was he was he making it appear like his tentacles are all over the place, all over in government, or he just bluffing? Ano bang ano dyan? But these people who belong to these organizations that have been mentioned by Jose Maricison, why aren't they saying anything about it? Mikel, have you read anything about this, or do you know anybody?
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, matagal na akong may concerns with the NPA, no? Napag-usapan natin yan before pa, no? But it's syempre na revitalize siya this past few weeks because nga nag-start din dun sa kay Liza Soberano. And then di ba, si Mark Lopez, yung ating good friend, na siya yung nangyari dyan kasi he was very vocal about why Liza shouldn't appear on dun sa Gabriela talk na yan or whatnot. He was stating his concerns about that may NPA ties yan and you'd be parang inadvertently influencing kids to sympathize kasi diba dahil gusto kay Liza, diba?
Yeah.
But anyway, syempre being the world that we live in now na sobrang sensitive, ang dami nagalit, they started attacking Mark dun sa Twitter yata, and then people, anyways, it was a back and forth, it was madness. So it got to my radar, tas syempre, like si Angel Locsin, I know her boyfriend si Neil, so I've been seeing it a lot on the Facebook. They have their concerns. Ang stance ko kasi dyan, Ron, is very clear now. What scares me, so I'm okay with people defending personality. So defend mo si Liza, defend mo si Angel, defend mo whoever, Catriona. They have a right to say what they want. But what's happening is yung mga wokes or wokinam, as tawag ni Mark Lopez, they're instead of just choosing to defend those people, they're ending up defending the NPA and sympathizing with the NPA. Yun yung nakakatakot. Yeah, parang there's so much compassion now, like, NPA, parang ang nakasmile dito ngayon yung NPA all this talk about red tagging, don't red tag, don't. They're happy. They're getting all this publicity and whatnot that they wouldn't normally get.
How sure are you that these people who've been very, who have been very outspoken in their support for the NPA are not, part of that organization because they have their own.
Yung mga artista, like, unlikely naman si Catriona and si Liza are part of the NPA, no? I mean, si Angel Locsin kasi she's related to Colmenares and all of that, so medyo well-documented yan. I'm not saying si Angel is NPA, but, their family, sila Colmenares, and they have ties, no? So I couldn't, si Liza and si Catriona, as beautiful as they are, syempre they are entitled to speak wherever they want to speak. Diba? Parang we cannot stop that. If they want to, speak to sympathize with the NPA, that's nothing. Wala tayong magagawa dyan. This is the democracy we live in, no? It's not like they're actively going out there to recruit. Pag kasi ganun, delikado na, parang actively encouraging people to join a violent group or whatever. But if they're invited to speak here, well, just let them be. And what's happened kasi, inadvertently, favorite word ko today is inadvertently. Inadvertently, is pinalaki natin yung issue na hindi naman sana issue. So by talking about all this Liza stuff, all of a sudden people are like, oh wow, Liza, Gabriela, ganyan. And naging, I'm sure if we just let her talk there, nobody would have cared, nobody would have watched, and would have been back to our normal lives the day after. But because of the way we made it so big, so nagkaroon ng attention on the NPA, attention on Gabriela, attention, it's parang yun yung mga byproduct na hindi na lang sana nangyari. Kasi nakakabuisit naman talaga NPA. So ang suggestion ko sa mga wokes, mga bata, please learn about the NPA. Please, please, please. Again, kung may mga nanonood na NPA dito,
Pigilan mo na yan.
Basta wag yung mga violence, because there's a history there. I'm not saying that you don't have a cause, but to say the violent side of it is not something that we can ever condone. So yun, yung mga bata nanonood or people who are liking to defend the NPA now, please just find out more about it first.
Good thing. Yeah. Meron nga lumabas, Mikael, Eric, na parang, I think this was in one of the broadsheets. It was on social media as well. They were sort of like digging up, past history between the president, si PRRD, when he was still mayor in Davao, and his ties to the NPA. Kasi he was very friendly with the NPA in Davao City before, Eric, di ba? At ano siya, he sort of like tried to, make peace with them and sort of set up a line of cooperation between the NPA and the government. And he understands kasi they're plighted. Most of the people who join the NPA are poor. Diba? Who are desperate for change, sila yung mga nasa tinatawag na laylayan ng lipunan, yung mga hindi napapansin, yung mga hindi umaabot ang tulong ng gobyerno or sino man sa mga taong ito. Kaya it's easy for them to latch on to an idea. So meron lang magaling na magsalita, yung mga recruiter ng NPA or ng NDF pupunta sa mga lugar na to at sasabihin sa kanila, oy, ganito ang gobyerno, wala silang hindi kanila matutulungan. Kami nandito para ipaglaban ang inyong mga karapatan. 'Di ba? And ikaw, mahirap ka, kamote lang kinakain mo araw-araw, wala kang future, wala kang parang meron kang pamilya, hirap na hirap kang buhayin sila. Tendency mo is, siguro kailangan ko na ipaglaban yung aking mga karapatan. And then itong mga kabataan natin na medyo, sabi na nga yan, di ba, Mikael, na pag-usapan natin before, there were former NPA commanders who have come back to society and who are now cooperating with the government. They've been doing talks in front of very young people that sinasabi nila, kayo yung mga kayo yung mga vulnerable sectors of society, mga kabataan natin, lalong-lalo na yung hindi masyado strong yung ties with their family or their parents. Itong medyo liwaliw, yung mga nawawala, yung mga naghahanap ng sense of purpose, so to speak. Sila yung yung mga impressionable na mga bata na madaling ma-convince ng mga recruiter ng NPA sa mga eskwelahan na sumapi. Una, nagsisimula sa mga mga organizations na medyo leftist organizations in the schools, and then eventually they become part of the the fighting tawag dito, yung armed group. Sumasali na talaga sa namumundok na, di ba, Rick? Kaya may mga Nikibaka. So mga lumalabas pa nga mga litrato, dinidiscourage sa ng mga kabataan ng gobyerno na sumali sa mga ganito. Kasi bakit? Nasasayang yung edukasyon at yung kanilang kinabukasan kasi sila yung namamatay rin sa mga engkwentro. May kita mo yung malitrato ng mga mga teenager, they die because they end up fighting the army, and then they get shot, and then you see these pictures, group pictures of them, heads blown off, diba? Tapos what a waste. And then you have families, and I don't know if you remember this, Michael, Eric, nagkaroon pa tayo ng issue sa Facebook because they remove certain pages, hands off our children. Remember that Facebook page? These are real advocacies from parents who have kids who joined these leftist groups and eventually ended up fighting with the NPA. So meron talaga mga issues dito na talagang very important. And yung mga grievances ng mga parents na to ay napaka-importante, and the government recognizes that. I think it's about time that there should be people who will tell their kids what the realities are. Ano bang katotohanan? Meron bang kabuluhan itong pinaglalaban ninyo? Kasi marami ring mga nasa gobyerno who are trying to fight the system, pero they're working towards it. They're working towards it in a more positive light. They don't need violence to do it. Diba? Ang kanila kasi ang Marxist mentality. I don't know if it's a Marxist thing, Miguel. You can correct me if I'm wrong. You studied in UPLB. I'm sure you've heard people talk about it. To them kasi, for you to change the system, you need to overthrow it. You need to do it. Walang inevitable yung paggamit ng kaharasan, ng dahas para mabago natin yung problema ng lipunan. Yun yung kanilang yung point of view nila na I think in this day and age doesn't work anymore, because gaya ng sabi nila, Eric, Michael, di ba? You've heard of this before, where anyone who uses violence usually ends up dying violently.
Yeah, di ba? Live by the gun, die by the gun.
Yeah, live by the gun, die by the gun. Correct.
Sino nga yun? Who's that, rap artist?
Sino yung rap artist? Sabi na si Tupac, right?
Tupac Shakur.
And alam mo, I understand where the kids are coming from. They feel na parang, wow, this is I'm part of history. I'm like Jennifer Lawrence in Patriot Games. Patriot Games ba yun? Tama ba yan? Pag ganun pa.
Hunger Games. Patriot Games yan.
Mali pa. Luma pa yan.
Sabi ko na, mali dun.
Mga halata yung edad eh. Patriot Games yung... Di ba may Patriot Games na palabas?
Yeah, si Harrison Ford.
Harrison Ford yun, di ba? Hunger Games nga. Naalala ba ninyo yung... Maiba tayo ng konti yung mga dilawan. Nagkaroon sila ng parang... nag-form sila ng bagong group. Yung... tapos meron silang pa-Hunger Games. Nahansing mo. Alam mo sa Bisayan, Rick, yung tawag na yung term na hilas.
Hilas.
Bigla alam mo yung word na hilas?
No, ano yun?
Cringe-worthy, yung parang Wala lang, naalala ko lang tuloy. Kahilas ba? Kung sa Bisaya pa. Yung mga Hunger Games, pagaya-gaya nila sa mga popular movies para lang mapansin. Kunyari parang rebellion, parang ganun, parang we're fighting the government. Ang labo. Anyway, we have messages here from Nielsen Don Kochanko Obligar. Yeah, corruption of minor age. Tapos meron tayo dito sa ating other group. Let me check. Si Rosie Park says, I think it's time for government not to give or stop giving scholarships to those students who join in any kind of rebel acts. Po, may mas maraming deserving na mga bata. Oo nga naman, di ba? Man, what these kids would do to get an education, to better their lives. And then you have kids na medyo parang ang word pa na, so I'm sorry pero ano sila yung entitled yung mentality ng ibang mga kabataan natin.
Some of the kids, some of the people, not just kids, are disillusioned. Yun
Mm,
yung ano I think that's where the turning point is, wherein pag pag merong maghihikayat sa kanila na sumali at makibaka, join talaga sila because of this is that disillusion nga.
uy, nagpadala ka pala ng mga link, Rick.
Yes.
Okay.
Galing sa comment section natin yan. Thank you to Suzy na siya yung nagpadala ng link.
Si
At ang
Rainiel din may pinadala.
si Rainiel din nagpadala. Siya actually si Rainiel nag-comment na this is the video in Lieutenant General Parlades Facebook account.
This video,
One girl from Anakbayan, France saying, join the NPA. So, you wanna play that video? So, we find out?
let me see if we can, ha? Tingnan natin kung pwede natin i-play.
Sige.
Ito ba? Ito?
Join the new People's Army. Join the new People's Army.
Ayun.
The countryside. Youth and migrants, unite against U.S. imperialism. Junk BFA. Justice for Jennifer Laude. U.S. troops out now. Join the new People's Army. Join the new People's Army. Join the new People's Army.
Okay.
Youth and migrants, unite against U.S. imperialism. Junk BFA. Justice for Jennifer Laude. U.S. troops out now. Join the new People's Army. Join the new People's Army. Join the new People's Army.
She's in France?
Natawa ko dun sa editing.
Join the people.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay. So, ayun, no? Taga sa Gabriela Youth yun, Rick. Yung girl na yun.
Okay. So, it's
Anak
ano,
bayan.
diba? Parang, anak bayan.
With Anak Bayan, France. NPA recruit with Anak Bayan. Ayun, former chair of Gabriela Youth. Now, NPA recruiter with Anak Bayan, France.
So siya, meron pa silang French chapter.
Oh, diba?
Astig, ha? Wala siya rin. Yan, paano? So, yung sinasabi ng red tagging, how can you not? yun ang problema dyan. So, I think it's about time. If they're really sincere about getting offended by all these accusations by some members of the government, calling them out as part of the legal front of the NPA or the CPP, NPA or NDF, then they should come out and say, no, we're not. You're
just condemn the NPA and its atrocities, or yun lang naman kailangan nila sabihin eh. Ayaw pa rin nila sabihin.
Kasi
diba?
ang sinasabi lang din kasi ng government right now, di ba yung pinakita mong infographic kanina ni DILG Secretary, is mag-ingat din tayo sa pag-red tag kasi hindi basta-basta yan. I mean, some people may sympathize but are not part of the NPA. Right?
Oo naman.
Diba? So, hindi pwede kunwari, Catriona Gray, sabihin niya na, ako kung anong sinabi niya, pero we can't red tag her because she's probably not part of the NPA. Right? But she sympathizes. Yun lang siguro, but
hinay-hinay lang. Yun ang mensahe, hinay-hinay lang. Huwag ka dadalo sa pagsabi ng mga bagay na that will incriminate people na kahit na kasi 'di ba wala naman talagang there's nothing wrong with them doing talks for these organizations just as long as they're not actively part of any recruitment, 'di ba? Or
kasi for example, Gabriela supposedly is for women's rights, right? So Lisa Soberano probably talked about women's rights. Alam mo yun? Not joining the NPA or whatever like that. Ganun. It's not just because, okay, sabihin natin, Gabriela is a legal front of the NPA. Sabihin lang natin. Okay? Pero, on paper kasi, they're for women's rights. Tapos kung in-invite si Lisa Soberano, oh ma'am, talk ka sa amin, bayaran ka namin ng 50,000 or something like that. Di ba? Tapos pakainin ka namin ng Jollibee. Okay, fine. Di ba? Sige, fine ako. I'll talk about women's rights.
Ayaw ko dun.
Tapos yun lang yun eh. I mean, ako hindi ko rin narinig yung talk ni Lisa Soberano, so I can't really judge. Sinabi ba niya doon na join the NPA? O
Ito maganda comment ni Lee Bana MC. Ilda Ignacio says, I think kinote lang niya, why is it okay to call someone fascist but not okay to call others communist? Oh, 'di ba? 'Di ba tama naman eh.
Yeah.
Well, my point siya kasi yung the other side is so sensitive, no? They just make things explode. Pero sila, kung ano-ano na accuse nila doon kay President Duterte or and his people na murderers. I mean, how many times have they released a rumor na he's dead? Alam mo, mga ganun. They can say whatever they want, but then when you say something naman that doesn't, I'm sure red tagging is not a nice thing, but still, the way we blow it out of proportion, and he who lives in a glass house shall not throw stones, diba?
Correct.
So, yun yung mga importante dyan.
Yeah.
Both sides. I think both sides need to be less sensitive. Yun yung suggestion dyan.
But they're through the years kasi they have a history of using the term red tagging so that they can deflect any accusation and hurled against them. Kasi they don't want to be associated with it, but yet their actions speak otherwise, diba? Parang medyo
we have comments. We have comments on our show. Suzy saying actually the terminology red tagging sa kanila naman nanggaling o sa kanila lumabas yan. And si Klaus Albarracin is saying red tagging doesn't equate to being a terrorist, which is
or tagging someone as terrorist.
Or tagging someone as terrorist. Yeah.
Okay. Sabi ni Reniel Roman, anti-terror bill, he's a part of it, saying na it only applies if you knowingly help a specific anti-terrorist group. Sabi naman ni Suzy Nao, Reniel Roman, that Nawe. Sa webinar meeting na sinalihan ko, may mga nagsalita doon na most of the left pinapadala sa Europe, doon sila nanghihingi ng donations kung ano-ano sinasabi nila against the Duterte administration.
Parang religious lang din, di ba? Yung mga simba-simbahan, pupunta abroad, doon nanghihingi ng
di ba parang anong pinagkaiba nila doon sa mga yung mga sulat ng from Nigeria? Parang yung mga email
yung mga Nigerian prince.
Nigerian prince nag-i-email sa'yo, humihingi ng donasyon.
Pero kailangan mo muna padala yung bank account details para magkatugma kayo. Ang dami naloloko sa ganyan sa England. Huwag kayong ganyan.
Talaga?
Especially the elderly, yung mga senior citizens.
Yeah.
When they do that naman, they're like hoping at least 1 out of 100,000 people will bite, diba?
Ang dali paniwalaan kasi itong mga hirit ng mga to eh. If you're a foreigner, you don't know anything about the Philippines, and all you see are sound bites of the president saying shit. Yung mga kanya yung mga threats niya against the drug lords and whatnot, and then anuin mo yun, i-splice mo yung mga comments na yun at gagawin mo siyang material to show people from, say, the European Parliament. Tingnan mo itong presidente namin, grabe talaga, sobrang mamamatay tao to. Kawawa mga Pilipino, we're suppressed, we need your help, diba?
Pag chinek mo lang naman international news, it's all fed by whoever, Rappler and what. Akalain talaga ng mga tao na everyday dito sa Pilipinas, paglabas mo ng bahay, binabaril ka dahil mukha kang addict.
Kaya diba, Mikel, you were saying that your relatives in the UK, they call you, tapos kinakamusta ka.
Yeah, they all think we're all getting shot. Even my relatives in the States, they're like, oh my God, how's the peace and order situation? It's so bad. Like, no, actually, okay kami dito. Which is why, that's why I hope that they learn to interview real people.
70 million Filipinos lang naman nasa Facebook.
Well, may lumabas today, Ron. I don't know. My friend posted it. Parang security, like sense of safety and security sa ASEAN, I think the Philippines was number 4.
Oh yeah?
So yeah. So
Wow.
let me see if I can and look for it.
Oh, that's cool.
So obviously we're such a horrible place. We're getting shot left, right, and center.
Yeah. But yun na nga does it say a lot about these people who don't even investigate before believing these things that they're being fed? Or napakagaling lang talaga nitong mga tao na to na mga gumawa ng kwento sa labas na pati nabobola nila itong supposed intelligent people from different parts of the world na who are supposed to be more discerning, diba, when it comes to things like this. It's kind of you would think that in a world of social media where the world is interconnected and we can't avoid not knowing things that are happening in Estonia, in the Ukraine. If you're well read, if you really read all these news bits coming from different, it's readily available, all the information. So it's either they're lazy or they just like to believe someone's kumbaga they will take someone's word for it because they trust this person or they think they are, or magaling lang talaga sila magkwento. Yan lang yung pwedeng mga possibilities dyan
Jerome Dial. I'm hoping that I'm saying your last name correctly, Jerome. No? Same for activism. Activism does not equate to terrorism. CCP, NPA, NDF are activists and terrorists. Reformists are activists, but definitely not terrorists. Well said, man. Well said.
Makes sense. But if they blow up like tractors, blow up bridges,
ay iba na yun.
Terrorism na yun.
Which they do. Yung ginagawa ng NPA yun eh.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's because of revolutionary tax or yung mga kikil nila sa mga tawag nito, mga business owners, no, like farmers, tsaka yung mga bus owners. Di ba, Ron, sa Mindanao, ilang bus na yung
sinusunog yung labas
ng
tapos
NPA kasi ayaw magbayad ng revolutionary tax.
Tapos pinapatay nila yung mga rebel returnees. Di ba? Isn't that
di ba? A few weeks ago, we talked about the NPA and I shared my friend's experience wherein muntik silang na land grab. Buti na lang tinulungan sila ng local government and local armed forces at nakuha nila ulit yung kanilang kanilang land. And for a few weeks, it was peace and quiet, and now they're receiving death threats. They're now hiring bodyguards kasi nga, alam mo yun, continuous yung threat dun sa lupa nila, dun sa farm nila. So, if you ask me if we need to respect the NPA, ako sa totoo lang hindi. So kung may mga taga-NPA na nanonood ngayon,
Si Eric lang yan, wala, hindi namin kilala yung Eric na yan.
Si Eric is Mikel.
Kasi sa totoo lang, mga bastos talaga. Well, siguro meron talaga kayong like I'm speaking directly to the NPA right now. Lakas ng loob ko, but anyway.
It must be the food, the stomach food.
It must be the medicine. Pero, meron kayong purpose, meron kayong, may beliefs kayo, and you believe in that wholeheartedly. Pero yung mga pamamaraan ninyo, mga chong, sobrang mali. Okay, nakaka-epekto kayo ng inosenteng tao. Walang kinalaman at pinapatay ninyo. At sinasaktan ninyo. So, mali rin yun. So, if you wanna fight fairly. Kasi kung pwede lang.
Wala, anyway, yung ways ng mga tao na to. And those people who've come back to the fold from, after being with the NPA for so many years, they will attest, they will actually say, this is what's wrong with this cause. This is what's wrong with the NDF, the CPPA. You have a leader who's exiled in the Netherlands. He doesn't have to go through what these low level NPAs are going through in the bukid. Hindi siya yung nagugutom, nagkakasakit, namamatay sa bundok, 'di ba? Pero and he's just enjoying his life in the Netherlands. It's so convenient. And you know who reminds me of that guy from the Netherlands, Jose Marie Sison? Yung ating mga
Si Marichan. Kala ko sasabihin mo.
muntik na. Kamukha hindi naman kamukha, pero
Hindi, sobrang naman.
hindi.
Pogi si JMC.
You know who? Yeah, pogi si JMC. You know who reminds me of? Yung mga keyboard warriors ng kabila. Sila. Grabe sila bumanat. Walang kwenta si Digong, duta blah blah. Mga dami mga sinasabi. Habang nakahiga sa kanilang air conditioned room. Tapos walang kwenta to. Tapos pupunta ng Starbucks, inom ng Starbucks, tapos babanat. Yun ang feeling ko. Hindi sila yung actually naghihirap sa bukid na lumalaban sa gobyerno. That's think about it. If you happen to be kung meron kang, you have the same mentality, I think you should sort of like reconsider your position, because it only makes you a hypocrite. If you to be honest with you. Sabi ni Jerome Dial, some NPA legal front members are not aware of the CPP, NPA, NDF's underground sections. But most NPA commander retirees say that internally, it's one and the same. Okay? Sabi ni Zephanie Zeph, inatake nila isang private bus company dito, nasunog ng bus at nakipagbarilan sa mga pulis.
Yep. Nangyayari yan. Always. Saan po yan? Siguro malamang sa Mindanao yan. Or pwede rin sa Visayas.
Hindi, nakwento ko na to dati, di ba? Like before, when I first moved back here, meron kaming, yung family, they had a barging business, no? So I think it's also gone. There's 1 or 2 times I got calls from our people, our team there, na yung mga katabi namin mga barge, pinasabog ng mga with dynamite and all sorts kasi di daw nagbabayad na. I always wondered why ours didn't explode. But talagang nagpapanik sila kasi daw pinapasabog nila certain barges yung mga talagang hindi nagbabayad. So talagang grabe sila. Imagine isang buong barge pasabugin mo.
Sabi ni Zephanie, it's Pangasinan daw.
Dito lang. Wow. Luzon.
Scary.
Wild, man. When you reach a point where you are, itong mga karamihan naman na sumasama sa NPA, right? Well, some of them will become leaders in that group, come from the academe, di ba? Meron sa mga matatalino naman itong mga to eh. Pag nakausap mo, they're very well spoken. They seem intelligent. But I think
parang tayo lang.
But it's just that they romanticized revolution. That's what it is. They think revolution is such a sexy word. It's such a
such
an empowering thing.
It's hard kasi they really, if you talk to a lot of the NPA, lalo na yung mga bago lang, diba? They really believe in the principles of it, what they're fighting for. But it's just that it's such a weird system na siguro eventually nagiging corrupted na lang. But there's a lot of people who feel mga genuine gripes kasi na-influence sila, loko na sila ng mga whoever, no? They like you said kanina, Ronesh, they'll find somebody who really they know na kaya nila tong may weakness ng taon to ngayon. Let's capitalize on that. He will join
kaya
us.
nila kutuin.
Yes. And parang it's most people, it's kwento mo na yun dati, manipulation. Diba? So yun yung mga nakakatakot.
Ito yung sinasabi mo, Rick, safest Asian countries from crimes.
Well, yeah, I don't know how legit that is, but I just saw that.
Kasi non-BO to eh. Ito rin yung lumabas nung 2016. Davao City as one of the safest cities in the world. Itong non-BO rin lumabas. At this is based on parang numbers that kinocompile sa social media ang numbers na to. So yeah, maybe questionable a little bit yung accuracy. And it's crowdsourced data. So pag crowdsourced,
Kung crowdsource yun, dapat number 1 tayo.
tama. Kasi naman, ang daming mga Pilipino sa social media, lalo na sa Facebook. O, di ba? Kung maraming Pilipino at supporter si Presidente, at kung sabi nila na meron talaga mga trolls, at tinutulungan tayo ng China, di sana number 1 na tayo, safest city in Asia. Tama ba, Mikel? Is that your assumption? Yun ba yung...
I can't wait to see all these trolls vote in 2022.
Ay, nako. Si Ronan Diet pala ay taga Zamboanga. At Chabacano. Hola, buenas tardes. It's a greeting.
Hola. Sabi yung kumbersa.
Oo nga, no. Paminsan nakakalimutan natin na naging colony ng Espanya.
333 years, man. Grabe.
333 years and part of both the positive and negative traits of the Spanish we've taken on.
FYI lang, I was born in Spain.
You were born,
really?
Mikel?
Yeah. Birth certificate ko at baptismal certificate ko is in Spanish, hassle. Every time I had to bring it before, hassle.
Marunong ka mag-Espanyol, Mikel?
Very little. But I was there siguro until 3 or 4. Tapos bumalik na dito. My parents were working there kasi.
So are you also a Spanish citizen or?
No, I gave that up. Because I had to join military service when I was 18. So when I was 18, that was not on the agenda. So I gave that up. So British sa Filipino.
Alam mo yung Spanish colonization na 333 years. Medyo common pala yan.
Nyari ka, Eric.
With countries also. Wherein they were also colonized by Spain for about 300 years also.
Alam mo,
yun yung sawa factor, 300 years.
Pero Mikel, Eric, sa tingin mo yung kasi napansin mo ba lahat ng mga naging colony ng Spain mahihirap? Maraming mahihirap.
Yeah,
yung mga South American countries, tapos and all the others, yung mga medyo progressive are the ones that used to be British colonies, like Hong Kong.
There are a lot of colonies that did not progress, did not recover very well. Not just the Spanish colonies. Some Portuguese, some Roman.
Italian, ano?
Yeah, yung Roman Empire, di ba, nag-expand sila through Africa also, di ba? So yung mga African cities,
the modern colonial powers kasi starts with the Brits, di ba? The British, the Spanish, Dutch. Meron bang Germans? The Dutch ba nag-colonize ng South Africa?
Yes.
Dutch,
yes.
No?
Yes.
Di ba grabing racism dun sa nung time na yun, apartheid sa
apartheid.
Sa South Africa. Anyway,
yes.
we're just medyo malalim din talaga yung ating yung history natin. At yung personality ng Pilipino ay medyo complex din because we went through so much. Although, some would say that, this is a different generation. We're the generation of Netflix. We like American movies. We like foreign products.
Hindi American. Korean.
K-drama, bro. K-drama.
K-drama, panalo.
K-pop, K-drama, lahat.
Sabi ni Susie now, Rainier Romance, sinusunog o sinisira nila ang mga cell sites sa mga probinsya. Kahit nahuhuli kung saan nagtatago yung mga terorista, tapos kikilan din nila Mga telco sa probinsya, kapag hindi nagbigay ng tax, susunugin nila towers. Mga magsasaka, hinihingan din nila ng tax kapag hindi nagbibigay. Pag hindi nagbigay, papatayin nila. Kaya hindi mo maintindihan ano yung ideology nila. Corrupted na talaga yung, I think, yung organization eh. It's been 50 years. And what I heard is, alala mo yung asawang Tiamson? Na pinakawalan ni Presidente and then hinuli uli. They have their own, they don't really listen to Jose Marichan daw. Jose Marichan.
Dinadami mo na naman si... Red tag mo si JM. Ano ka ba? Madadali tayo.
Bermans na kasi.
Just like to clarify for the record, although Jose Marichan haunts your mind and your brains with his songs, he's not a terrorist.
Bermans na kasi. Si Joma, si Joma, hindi na daw pinapakinggan si Joma sa level ng mga NPA. May iba na silang, kumbaga iba yung galawan nila. Parang figurehead na lang yan kumbaga. So may mga ganyang mga bagay na, you'll learn a lot from the returnees. They tell you all the, the ins and outs of the organization and how they're really good. Kung sa public speaking, sa talumpati, sobrang lupit nila magsalita. Kaya marami silang mga nako-convince na mga kabataan na sumapi. But in truth, it's a very hollow and corrupt organization. Ano yung mga comments ng iba nga, di ba? Yung mga nagrarally dyan, ano ba yan? Parang, kasi syempre funded yung mga yan eh. If they don't grab, where's the money? Walang walang kwarta kung hindi sila magrarally. So may mga ganyan mga allegations and assumptions coming from other people now who are very critical of these legal fronts. Ayun, sabi ni, sinagot mo Eric, may nagtanong ba about sa Futbolero?
Sabi si Ranilo Kasupanan asked, just curious, what is Futbolero? What does it mean? Tapos, sinagot ni Ronan na football, foot is equal to football, soccer, ganun. And Futbolero is a person or player who plays the sport. Pero sinabi ko, mga bolero din.
Sila lang, hindi ako.
Kasi mga taga-nagdala football daw nung kabataan nila, yun sila daw yung numerosa na bolero kagaya ni Mikel. Pero si Mikel nagbago na. Kasi syempre si Sab, baka nakikinig ngayon, Mikel sa ibang Mikel na tong kanyang version na Mikel na kilala.
I'm well trained na. May version din ng NPA terorista dito sa bahay namin. Joke lang, babe. Joke lang, Sab. Love you. Peace.
yung ano niya, yung wine niya, may limitation ng wine niya.
May revolutionary tax din dito sa bahay namin.
si Crocodile is watching from Davao. Kumusta na ba? Croco. Salamat sa pagpapanood mo sa among programa. Sometimes I enjoy it when we do talks with regions and when we talk about constitutional reform, and then I end up being asked to talk to Region 11, Eric. So mga taga Davao ba? So ako talaga, wow, this is so cool, di ba?
Yeah.
Parang this is if you go back 20 years and then if you were to think of like another life, you wouldn't think that I would end up doing talks with people from Davao, from Manila, and about constitutional reform. Weird.
Pag nagbibigay ka ng talk sa mga taga Davao, Ron, did they ever say, sino itong hype nito? Kilala ko to, ang gagong to.
Hindi nagnakaw ng kambing ko eh.
Nakikita ko dati sa mga bar dito
Ito yung may galant noon na kulay brown cow ang tawag nila, tapos pag nakapark sa labas ng Ateneo, sinisipa ng siraulo yung sasakyan niya. may mga ganun. Sabay mga
Yan. Sabay ngayon, this government is in desperate, ano.
Ay, nako.
Kailangan natin ipa-check yung vetting process dun sa DILG. Parang sablay.
Medyo may sayad.
Sino-sino na lang tinatanggap nila dyan, medyo delix.
Walang quality, kulang sa quality control.
By the way, part of our question is, ano bang wish mo ngayong Pasko? At
ang dali-dali lang yan. Kung ang wish mo ay hindi mawala ang COVID, wag tayo mag-usap. Somebody write Santa, please. Kayo na lang kasi I've been naughty, hindi daw ako pwede.
yes, sa mga bibigay ko na yung mga giveaways daw sa Pasko. Magbibigay ba daw tayo ng mga small cakes na pinapagawa mo, tapos bibigay mo sa mga, ikaw Mikel, I'm sure medyo I sense that you are you are a very generous employer. So hindi ba?
Why? What's happening?
Hindi kasi iba yung Christmas natin ngayong taon, di ba? Kasi medyo konting austerity.
Tapos bawal ang Christmas party, di ba?
Bawal rin ang Christmas party.
Virtual na yung Christmas party namin.
Zoom talaga, huwag na lang.
Zoom, oo.
Pass.
Pero may ano pa rin, Rick, merong mabunutan pa rin. Meron pa rin may manyanita. Wala na.
I don't know. Wala pa kaming details. Pero ang alam namin is, virtual nga siya.
Ng mga raffle prize ngayon, UV light.
UV light.
One free swab test.
Ano nga yung sinasabit ngayon na parang
negative ion.
Yun.
Yeah.
Isa yun sa mga iniisip naming giveaway.
Yeah.
Totoo ba yung mga yun? Ang daming gumagamit doon.
Duterte wears it, di ba?
Oh yeah? He
has one. Yeah. But I don't know if it works though.
Question the president if that works.
I have a friend who's a doctor and they were given by yung mga med reps daw. So meron siyang ganun. Sabi niya pag hinahawakan niya nakukuryente siya. Sabi ko, baka kaya walang lumalapit siyang COVID, nakukuryente lang lahat.
Hindi, baka virus din siya.
Si Erickson. Sabi ni Erickson, wish ko sana tumama ako sa loto.
Ay, wag. Masisira buhay mo dyan, Erickson. Wag.
Alam mo ba?
Ang tanong Erickson, tumataya ka ba?
Yes, you have to be in it to win it.
Yes.
Did you know? Did you know tayo na portion din sa sinabi ni Erickson, gusto ko lang sundan yan. Did you know na it's more likely that you get hit by lightning than to actually win the lotto? Alam mo ba yun?
Yeah.
Yung kasabihan na yun?
Yung probability.
Yung probability.
Yeah. I'm sure naman.
So yung nanalo ng 180 million ba yun just recently? Yung sana yung isa na hindi alam ng mga kapitbahay nanalo siya ng 180 million.
Nung nasa England ako, sobrang laki ng lotto doon kasi you can win such huge prizes there. Tapos meron pa sila yung Euro millions kasi kasama yung other European nations. So lalaki. But then when I first moved sa England, nagtataka ako kasi yung mga nananalo, lumalabas, nagpe-press conference with the lotto saying, they won, ganyan. So, kung di mo pwede gawin sa Pilipinas yung manalo sa lotto, tumakbo ka na. Kasi kung malaman ng mga kapitbahay mo, nanalo ka, o yung mga kapamilya mo, wala na, deads ka na.
Kung hindi ka man kikidnapin, grabing pipila yung mga gustong humingi ng bala.
Oo. Diba? Pag ako nanalo ng lotto, alam niyo na, hindi na ako mag-guess dito ulit.
Siguro you leave the country, no? Kung nanalo ka ng ganun kalaking pera, tapos pag disappear ka na lang ng mga isang taon, titira ka sa a place like Morocco or
Ron, the only question here when I win the lotto is whether or not I will tell my wife. That's the only question here.
Lakas ng
Sab, if you're watching, I'm sure. Sab, if you're watching, mag-behave ka na kasi kung manalo ka sa lotto, hindi pa sure nasasama kita. My size ka. Jokes lang, mag-Google pa ako nito mamaya.
But speaking of Christmas and anything that is religious, what can you say about, ewan ko kung fake news to, pero merong mga, may quote, social media cards na lumabas about the Pope saying that, people, we should be more accepting with gay couples, and they should allow gay unions, or ang tawag nito, or
Civil, ano.
civil unions
Yeah.
legal for gay couples. Is that a progressive thing that a pope would say, or I don't know? I mean,
The times are changing. Dapat mag-adapt na rin lahat, I mean, as controversial, ako Catholic ako, no? So I grew up Catholic, went to a very Catholic school, but for me, people should be, free. We shouldn't judge. We should, if people want to be together, kung gay or not gay, that's it, man.
Yeah.
The way I grew up is I was told God loves everyone, and that means everyone. Walang exception dyan ng homosexuals. So that's, for me, that's always what I believed, and that's what I teach my kids and everybody. Ang tanong ko lang kasi sa mga gay couples na gusto magpakasal, bakit? Hindi nyo ba kami nakita? Kaming mga kasal. Mukha ba kaming happy? Huwag nyo na kaming gayahin.
Oo nga naman. That's a very good point, Mikel. So,
Let us
pwede
be the
natin
lesson
ibalik,
here.
pwede
Diba?
natin ibalik sa kanila. Gusto ba ninyong mag-suffer for the rest of your life?
Ay, sayo
Diba?
nila, don't ruin it.
lab.
But in a
Sabi niya,
serious note though,
Ah.
yeah. Sige, go.
Sabi niya,
Daniel.
even LGBT daw is used by the NPA.
Talaga? Wow. Kung ano-ano
Wild.
na lang, no?
Si Ronan Dayot, divorce for God's sake, we should reinstitute divorce back in the Philippines. Yeah, there have been
Pwede.
people trying to get this introduced in our legislative body. At least para mapag-usapan lang. Pero siyempre may mga kontra dyan. Ang alam mong hirap rin kasi sa atin, dahil prevalent yung tinatawag na hypocrisy. Ano talaga, the politicians think in terms of perception. So kung gusto nila, they want to, let's say, get the religious sect to support them in the next election, they will have to take on a more conservative point of view when it comes to marriage. So pag sinabing divorce, ay hindi ko sa isip-isip nun, kahit alam niya practical or tama or it goes with the times, hindi nila susuportahan yun dahil merong mga gaya ng Iglesia ni Cristo, ng mga Catholic sector na sasabihin, ay nako, hindi pwede yan, hindi pwede divorce sa atin. 80% of our population are Christians or Catholics. Naku, that'll be frowned upon. Baka hindi ka manalo sa next election. So, they play to the crowd.
Well, but why? How many countries that are also very heavily Catholic have divorce? Aren't we like one of the only countries left na lang na walang divorce
Walang
in the
divorce.
world?
That's true.
Makes you wonder why. But yung ibang kasing rumor dyan before, Ron, is kaya daw hindi papasayin is a lot of politicians don't want divorce kasi baka kunin ng mga asawa nila yung mga pera. Kasi diba, madaming mga hindi nakapangalan sa kanila, nakapangalan kung kani-kanino lang. So, pagka may divorce, baka medyo maging mas malakas sa loob ng mga asawa nila.
Sabi ni Julio 30, na misquote daw si Pope Francis. Ang sabi niya lang ay tanggapin natin ang mga kapatid nating mga LGBT sa family, pero hindi sa
hindi naman sinabi ni Pope Francis na marriage in the Catholic sense, no? Like in the Catholic Church. I think he just said respect civil unions and all that stuff.
Yes. That's right.
Ano lang, para sa akin, there is one love and it's true anywhere. No, kahit saan ka pumunta, love is constant. Now, yun nga, being Catholic, no, we grew up, ang alam lang natin na love is boy and girl. Ganun. But times are changing, there's love everywhere, and they should be able to love each other. Pero yun, civil union, ako sa totoo lang, kung pinayagan natin ang mga LGBT mag-civil union, will it make a difference? Parang hindi, wala naman eh. Right? I mean, is it gonna affect us on a negative manner? I don't think
Yeah,
so.
that's why I don't understand why it's even still a question.
No, I
Diba?
think the concern ng mga medyo conservative Catholics or Christians is that as of society, parang if we allow these things to happen, it will society will slowly disintegrate. Or kasi hindi na it's not
How?
normal now to have like a same sex having relationships. I mean, can you
But
imagine?
But they have it in other countries in the world. Di naman sila hindi naman
Oo.
nasira yung mga society nila. In fact, probably became more tolerant because nga you teach kids to be more tolerant and everybody to be more. Well, that's what we want in society anyway. Is that we can tolerate each other better, whether you're yellow, Duterte, gay, not gay, diba, black, white. You should be able to treat everybody the same way. Diba? Basta mabait sa'yo, dapat ikaw mabait din. I mean, it doesn't matter if they're gay or what. To say that having gay marriage will ruin society is a bit parang, I don't think, we're already ruining society without gay marriage. So,
Well,
Actually, my take on this is religion is actually the
in all honesty, it's what I mean, a lot of the religious beliefs of many different, they're taken to the extremes.
take it to the extreme, and it's the reason why we are so divided as a people, because we think that our belief is the real, or the truth is the truth, and we don't accept others' truths to be, and then we end up fighting with them, and it becomes, diba? I mean, this war in the
That's
Middle East.
why. It's always naman, di ba? It's religious naman. But I watched kasi a comedian before, sa England pa ako noon eh. Sabi niya parang, kaya daw siya walang religion. Kasi imagine if you, let's say, you lived your whole life Buddhist, whatever, nung namatay ka, pagdating mo sa heaven, maling religion pala yung pinaghirapan mo. Yung pala po si Allah pala yung naghihintay na, oh, damn it. All my life, I was celibate for nothing. God damn it. Yung mga ganon, di ba? So,
Wait, by the way, speaking of the Muslim religion, did you know that ang idol natin, si Dave Chappelle is Muslim?
Ah, really?
oh yeah?
Yeah, man.
Did he just recently convert or matagal na?
Yeah, no, years ago.
Oh yeah?
He get into it. I think he talked about it.
Baka kay Dave Letterman.
Then si Dave Chappelle.
Hindi,
Ano?
baka because he was in the interview with Dave Letterman recently.
Ganun.
Oh, okay.
Kasi I am ferocious. I've been watching a lot of his videos. Tapos I think one of the videos, meron siyang mga interviews na sobrang haba. Meron siyang mga shows na sobrang haba. Yung mga nirecord lang sa isang club, pumunta lang siya kasi for a time there, that he went around the world, diba? Tapos he would just, appear in a comedy club and then he'll start talking. he'll do a set na unprepared. And then he'd have interviews as well, and then he'd be very candid about his beliefs, his parang intellectual conversations. He's kaya nga I'm so galing ito ni Dave Chappelle. Yun. Sabi niya, and he was talking about how beautiful the Muslim religion is, and why he ended up becoming one.
Okay.
It's pretty cool. Kaya nga like Christians kasi sometimes when you were around a lot of Christians, diba? Christians, both Christians and Catholics, which is crazy because dito kasi sa Pilipinas, merong new wave of Christianity so to speak. Diba? I don't know if you're familiar with this. We have friends who've joined groups like Victory. Diba? Victory, and then my sisters are part of 7 Day, and this happened like 10 years ago lang. Alam mo yun? And we were like totally hardcore Catholic before because of my parents. But I mean, when you talk to them, there's a sense that we're the ones, we are the group that will be saved. Alam mo, that's the bottom line. The rest, kawawa naman sila.
Well, if you are the ones who are going to be saved and you guys are really nice people, can you also save us? Would that be too much to ask?
Kaya kasi iniisip ko, I think we should have like mutual respect for each other's beliefs, diba? Kasi I don't think, lalo na when you talk about the afterlife or you talk about like, a higher being. Yes, we may have the opinion that we have our truth is better than the other, but who knows, right? I mean, who would know that until
I mean, look, I grew up Catholic and hardcore Catholic yung family namin. I mean, the entire family. But to be honest, I don't really believe in religion. I believe in God. I don't. I'm not a big fan of religion because it's the number one thing that separates us from each other. Sa totoo lang, and it's the beliefs ba. No, kasi for
Mhm.
example, not to diss yung sinabi ng family mo ron, no, but pag sinabi mo kasing kami yung masasave, parang yun nga, 'di ba? Yung term natin ron, hilas. Grabe ka hilas, 'di ba? Parang
Hindi.
okay, kayo na. O, 'di ba parang so doon nagsi-start yung yung separation, no? Or yung barrier na okay, sige, kayo lang or kami lang, mga
Kaya,
ganun. So
kaya nga hindi ka magtataka, Rick, di ba? Or Michael, if somebody comes up to you and then starts talking about religion, your initial reaction is of dread. Parang, oh my gosh, no.
ako,
Please.
ako, simple lang
Or,
ako eh. Simple lang. For the longest time, I grew up, maldito rin ako eh. No? But for the longest time, ang sinasabi ko, kasi I got this realization about religion a long time ago, bata pa ako. Parang, oh my God, nag-aaway, Christian, Muslim, or non-Muslim, Christians and non-Christians nag-aaway. Di ba? So, and bakbakan sila ng bakbakan on their beliefs. Sabi ko parang, lahat ng religion teaches about love and peace. Ba't kayo nag-aaway? Ano ba? Di ba? So, kaya ako medyo nag-distance ako sa religion, but I still communicate to my God, to our God. No, I would believe na isa lang yan. But, ang akin lang kasi, ang problema lang kasi talaga sa religion, it's really dividing people. No, nag-aaway-away yung mga tao. So, ako, simple lang ang prinsipyo ko. As long as, number one, mabait ka sa tao, wala kang tinatapakan, wala kang ginagago dyan, you will end up in heaven. Kahit anong religion yan. Diba? If there is a heaven. You'll end
pero,
up in a better place
Rick,
pag mabait
paano,
ang
Rick,
tao.
paano, Rick, kung biglang pagkamatay mo, tapos, and then, you open your eyes and you end up in a cartoon or or in a
Well,
cow.
Depends which cartoon. Depends which cartoon.
pag Ren and Stimpy yan, medyo magkakaproblema tayo. Pero pag SpongeBob SquarePants, medyo masaya ako pag SpongeBob na cartoon. Pero in all seriousness, for example, when sabihin natin, okay, when we die, paano kung walang heaven? Paano pag wala lahat 'yan, 'di ba? Hindi natin alam eh, 'di ba?
Darkness lang
At
pala
least
talaga. Or wala
at
na,
least
atheist
I
exist.
know ako alam ko na mabait ako. Hindi ako
Yeah.
maldito. Wala akong ginago, wala akong mga inano dun sa past life ko.
Pero
Yun lang yun para sa akin.
alam mo, Rick, Michael, the reason why it's hard for me to believe that after we die, it's nothing. Kasi yung mga atheists, ganyan ang panimala eh. Now, this is heaven and hell, right here. While you are alive and conscious about your
Oh,
surroundings, this is
ito na yung
your hell.
purgatory, di ba?
This is both your heaven and hell. And once you die, it's over. It's gone. Nothing happens, di ba? Parang ganun daw ang yun ang paniwala ng mga atheist. Pero, inisip mo rin, parang, what a waste of realizations and a waste of the process of you having these very profound ideas and thoughts about people, about relationships, kung ganun lang pala ang patutunguhan. Because eventually, no one will be spared. all of us will just, we will pass away. Diba? We will all die. It's inevitable, like death and taxes, diba? Sinasabi nila. So I don't know. How about you, Mikaela? You seem to be like a more pragmatic type of guy. You're like, medyo may hesitation ka when it comes to discussing religion. But
No.
di
I,
naman.
I grew up like extremely Catholic. No, I studied in South, which is one of the most Catholic schools
Oh
there is.
yes.
Kita.
Oo nga.
We went through the extremes there, and in many ways, there was a time before na medyo na turn off ako kasi it became too extreme. So there was a time I got detached from it and whatnot. But I've gotten into Buddhism. I did meditation, all sorts of stuff. But I really agree with what Eric says, and I've been saying this for the longest time. Is as long as you're a good person, that's all that matters. You treat people well, you have a clean conscience, and you do live for others. Because, like Eric said, the truth is almost all religions teach the same thing. It's just people have taken it to different types of extremes and used it to divide each other. But for me, religion has to be something for the better.
Pero sa
No, it will improve your life. If let's
pero
say kahit
Mikael,
na you believe in weird things, okay lang. If it makes your life better, it gives you some sort of guidance ba? Okay na yun.
there are
Wag mo lang
Christians,
gawing ano.
Tsaka
there are
huwag ka namang damay.
there are Christians who say, Eric, Mikael, may mga Christians na nagsasabi na good works are not enough now. You have to,
Ano?
hindi daw enough ang good works. Hindi daw, it's not enough for you
Well, okay.
to be received the kingdom of God. Sabi
The
ko,
way, the way I look at it, Ron, no, is and again, I'm Catholic, so may mga magagalit dito, no. I'm a father. I have a child. I have 2 kids. I love my kids. I'm very proud of them. I'm parang in almost every instance, I can always forgive my children. Kung ano mang gawin nila, mapapatawad ko yung mga anak ko as long as they show their whatever. So parang for me, like if they're saying, okay, God is the Father, it's the same. If He loves you, we all make mistakes, we all commit sins. But I mean, what kind of a father will send you to burn in hell for life because you made a mistake? You know what I mean? Those are the parts I cannot reconcile because I don't believe in that, and I don't. Even yung sa management style ko has always been I never operate by fear. No? So I don't want to be like my religion to be guided by fear also. You do it because you're happy, you want to do it the right way. Basta what we teach our kids is not to take things to the extreme, be sensible still. Basta always be nice. Yun lang naman. Treat people well, guys. Kahit anumang religion nyo. And respect each other. If some people have really strong religious beliefs, that's theirs. You cannot change that. Ang mahirap is we knock on people's doors, we try to influence people. I mean, how many times sa buhay mo may kausap ka na iba yung opinions nyo and at the end of it, nag-agree kayo? Okay, sige, tama ka. Or whatever you said, let's do that now. No, it doesn't end that way, diba? So just let it be. Let people do their things. And especially for, the people like, wari, magalit sa mga gay marriage and stuff. Why? If your religion teaches you to be nice and to love everybody, why should that be limited to everybody who is just not gay? Diba? Parang, I don't understand it.
Alam mo, Mikael, yung pinaka-paradox for me for when it comes to very religious people, like we've known priests in our lives, diba? Kasi we studied in Ateneo. Marami tayong mga brothers, mga Jesuit brothers whom we interacted with growing up, and I can probably count like five of them. I can remember growing up in high school. Na they're so interesting personalities, very interesting personalities to mga Jesuit priests na to. And then years later, only to find out that they've left the congregation, the order. Naging
Na in love.
Wala lang, parang I think yun yung pinaka paradox for me is that if you believe so much, if grabe yung belief mo on certain principles from a particular belief or religion, chances are ikaw rin you are prone to having you're prone to confusion when it comes to your own beliefs kasi parang you believe in it so much that when you make a mistake, bigla na lang, all of a sudden, the world crashes down on you. unlike people who are more open-minded about things, diba, na it's para marami ako na nakikilala ng mga tao na pinipilit nila yung belief nila sa'yo na talagang hindi, mali ka eh. Ito yung totoo. You have to follow Jesus Christ or you have to do this, to do that.
It
Tapos
never
bigla
works
na lang,
naman.
sila rin yung very inconsistent. Sila rin yung may mga personal struggles na matindi. Diba? Sila rin yung grabe yung makikita mo na siya naman to.
I don't wanna
praise the Lord. Praise the Lord. Oh.
I don't wanna judge people who are like that, no. But tama rin si Ron nung sinabi niya na these are people na imperfect, just like everyone else, no. Na may mga personal struggles and stuff like that. And sometimes when they do that kasi, it's like they're preaching to themselves na, alam mo yun, na dapat ganito gagawin mo. And subconsciously, parang sinasabihan din nila sarili nila na dapat ganito ang path mo. Alam mo, I totally respect yung mga beliefs ng different people when it comes to religion. And honestly, when people talk to me about religion and try to convince me about, their beliefs and stuff like that, automatically nag-a-agree na lang ako para tapos yung usapan. Kasi, ladies and gentlemen, there are only two things that will lead to wars. Religion and politics. Yang dalawang yan. Mag-aaway talaga kayo pag yan ang pag-usapan ninyo. Kaya ako, if I'm in a social gathering or in the office or stuff like that or with family even, I rarely talk about religion and politics. Kasi nga, mag-aaway lang talaga kayo dyan. Kaya yun. I mean, venues like this, we can talk about it. Kasi it's a good topic and it's something that we need to get out there. Pero when it comes to friendship, alam mo, kung gusto mo talaga, kung ayaw mo sa tao na yan, pag-usapan ninyo ang politics at religion at hindi mo na makikita yung tao na yan ever again.
Lang yan naman itong picture mo.
Ano yun?
Yan ang sinasabi ko. Sa Pilipinas, ang pinaka gusto mo malaman kung ano yung kumbaga kung gusto mo malaman kung gaano ka inconsistent or what's the word, ingenuine ng yung mga tao na naniniwala sa kanilang religion, ay magsimula tayo sa ating mga politika. So yung mga politiko natin, grabe, I mean, how many pictures have you seen all these some of these idiots have their pictures taken while praying inside a church? Diba?
It's all image. It's all image.
Dude, this so happens lang na may nagpipicture nung nagdadasal sila.
May video camera, Tingnan mo media,
May vlog lang yung mga pare, may extra lang din.
Guest ng mga pare sa vlog.
Wala ba ring light dyan? Baka may ring.
Grabe. Alam mo, yun nga. Again, Rick, the word for tonight, the Bisaya word, hilas. Hilas talaga, hilas. May bago ka ng word na natutunan na sa in Bisayan. Hilas. Yeah.
Sakto lang din yung sinabi ni Erickson sa comments natin 2 minutes ago. Sabi niya, walang relihiyon na magtuturo ng masama. Yung tao sa religion ang nagtuturo ng masama para sa kanilang sariling agenda. Yeah.
Correct.
So, tulad ng picture na yan.
Grabe pa. Grabe, nakakaya naman itong mga to. Talaga. Hindi ba nila nakikita yung sarili nila? Hindi. When they see themselves in those photographs that appear nationwide, hindi ba sila nahihiya sa sarili nila? I mean, or matigas na talaga yung pagmumukha nila para...
Well, if you keep telling yourself the same lie over and over again, eventually you'll believe it.
Kung politiko ka, matigas mukha mo. Automatic yan.
So true. Tama.
Gusto mo makita ng mga makapal na mukha? alam mo yung may mga kaibigan ako na, whatever, growing up, alam kong sobrang salbahe ng mga magulang nila sa katulong, sa driver, and all that. Sila pa yung nagtatrabaho. Pag sa weekend, sa mass, sila yung nag-ano ng communion. Tapos pag nag-communion, ang bait-bait. Kung alam mo lang yung mga
Sila pa
ugali
yung
nila
nasa
talaga.
offertory pa, di ba?
Tapos
Nag-offertory
everybody
pa.
has to see them, di ba? Na, look at me, I'm here praying on the Sunday. But
So true.
meanwhile, there's people who don't go to church as often but are much nicer people. You know what I mean? So it doesn't necessarily mean that just because religious ka, you go to church, mabait ka na kagad. Hindi.
I don't know if people realize this, that, the Catholics, for one, most of the people who belong in, who are Catholics who become Christians, they have the same reason why they left Catholicism. Because they think people who go to the Catholic Church are all hypocrites. They're fake. And the institution is something that they have been disillusioned with, kaya sila naging Christian. Yun ang I don't know, experience mo ba yan, Eric, Miguel? Have you spoken to people who become Christians?
I have a lot of friends who are and relatives who are mga born again na and stuff, and whatever. Happy sila, doon sila, you go there. Di naman nila kami like they don't bring me in and say you have to join us. As a matter of fact, so like I have a close group of friends. We call it Monday Night Basketball. We always play basketball on Mondays. And na-invite lang ako sa group na yan a few years ago by my trainer. And only eventually I found out na born again sila lahat. They all go to like the same church or whatever. Siyempre, I was like, I'm Catholic. Medyo baka alam ba nilang Katoliko ko? Baka hindi na nila ako palaruin ng basketball dito. But, they became, it didn't matter. And they never once said to me, come, Mikel, join our prayer meetings or whatever. It's just, that's why. And I respect that more than anything because, they're happy doing whatever they believe in. And if you want to join, then they'll welcome you in. But most religions should be like that naman. It's just you tolerate everybody, you don't ram your beliefs, and you don't stand on the mountaintop saying, I am correct, everybody else is wrong. Because ganun yung nangyayari, di ba? The Catholics say, we're correct, Muslims are wrong. How do you know? Who knows? Di ba? We don't know what's the real one. These are all different versions of each other, di ba? Kumbaga parang mga iOS update lang yan. So, yun lang. So, just be nice. Just chill.
Alam mo, I'm now curious tuloy, Eric, Mikel. Kung, di ba sa Amerika, free for all eh. Pag Halloween kasi, you can wear any costume you want and people won't judge you. Pero, dito kayo sa Pilipinas kung may Halloween party, tapos puro Katoliko, mga diehard Katoliko, tapos pumasok ka, tapos ang costume mo, Santo Papa, magagalit ba sa'yo, ang mga Katoliko?
Oo naman. There was a time when I was growing up in sa Alabang. Di ba? I lived in Alabang. So, may time that there's 1 year, I can't remember, but pinagbawal yung mga scary na Halloween costumes and kasi daw it was against Catholics. I was like, what? It was such a bummer. I was like, what the heck are we doing? Kasi mga devil. Yung mga ganun. It was like,
really?
It's so ridiculous. I think people need to stop taking themselves too seriously.
So there's no such thing as a Catholic Halloween party? Na
well, before naman, there always was. Like, I grew up, it's always. There's 1 year, I remember there was such an issue. I don't know what, anyway. It just was so annoying.
Do you think the Catholic, let's say if you invited like a Catholic priest, tapos andun siya, and then siguro a few people from Opus Dei, and then bilang papasok ka, naka-Santo Papa costume, magagalit kayo sa iyo.
For sure, bro. Student ako ng Opus Dei. Ba tinuro namin sa hayop ka?
Diba? Pasok ka doon as the Pope, diba? Umiinom ka, yosi ka.
Part ako ng World Youth Day nung dumating si Pope dito. I was one of the volunteers.
Oh, wow.
Nalala ko pa yun kasi natulog kami dun sa Luneta yata. Katabi ko, portalet.
Ako medyo, look, I mean, don't get me wrong. Before Eric, diba, when we were growing up, studying in Ateneo, ang number one idol natin si Saint Ignatius de Loyola eh. Diba? Tapos we even saw the movie, what's the required movie that we watched back in grade 6 or grade 5? The Mission. After watching The Mission, remember The Mission? Mikel, have you seen The Mission?
I think so. I think so.
Robert De Niro was the actor there, and I think it's loosely based on, medyo inspired by the story of Saint Ignatius de Loyola. Saint Ignatius de Loyola, by the way, used to be a soldier, and then he was fierce. He was a really good soldier. Ganyan. He's a scary kind of character, I think. And then I think cannon hit his, he became, ba't ka natatawa? Tinamaan ng kanyon yung kanyang paa, tapos he became, nalumpo siya. And then I think that turned around his life, and he devoted it to Christ. Something to that effect. So there, and then the mission sort of like, it's all about redemption, really. Being a Catholic, it's about, being lost, and now being found after you found God or Jesus. Yun yung dyan, yung storyline ng Christianity at ng Catholics. It's all about redemption. About
Sorry, natawa lang kasi ako dito sa comment ni Julio 30. Meron daw siya napanood na sketch ni Rowan Atkinson na siya daw si Toby the Devil. It is. Come over here, please. Oh, my British accent. You must be feeling a right bunch of Charlies.
Dapat si Mikel British accent mo nga, Mikel.
Okay. Sige nga, Mikel.
Sige na.
Puta, kamukha ko pa naman si Rowan Atkins. Nickname yun sa akin ng mga tao namin doon sa England. Some of them used to call me Johnny English.
Talaga. Oh, man. Anyway, so sabi dito, sige nga, Mikel.
Huh?
You must be feeling a right bunch of Charlies. Okay, Christians? Yes, I'm sorry.
Yes. I'm sorry.
Loko to si Julio. Sabi ni Ram Heart Co, Muslim ako, marami akong kaibigan na iba-ibang relihiyon. Born again, iglesia, Christian, pero minsan sumasama sila sa akin sa mosque. Gusto nila malaman bakit puro masama ang naririnig nila. So after, sinabi nila sa akin, wala naman masama sa Muslims. Kaya the best sa lahat, respect each other, love each other.
100%.
100%. Kasi na-experience ko rin yan nung nag-aaral ako sa Cagayan de Oro. So I had friends from Marawi. They were a political family. Tapos yung isa doon naging ka-board mate ko sa dorm. Tapos yung cousin niya pumunta one time, gumimik, tapos nakitulog sa room ko. So yun, alam mo, ang sinabi niya, Rick, di ba Catholic ka? Sabi ko, okay lang ba if I talk about yung religion namin? Para lang that you know, kasi maraming misconceptions. Ganun. Tapos yun, nagkwento siya about the Muslim religion, and I totally respected him for that. Parang, wow, okay, ang ganda nga pala. Tapos sabi niya, this is what we try to follow ganun, sa religion.
Ako, suggestion ko is to find time to learn a little bit about each religion or each person's belief. Diba? I think it starts there. If you want to understand other people and their beliefs, dapat you have to parang go out of your way to learn more about them. Para you can put yourself in their shoes when they say things, when they comment, when they express themselves. You'd understand where it's coming from, because everything starts. There's a starting point for each person, especially when it comes to religion. And you know what? I think I'm interested enough to find out more about the Muslim religion because of the things I hear about it. It's a beautiful, idea. It's a beautiful religion. Coming from other people I've heard speak about it eloquently. I don't know if you've seen some YouTube videos of this guy. I forget his name. He's like na-mention ko na ba si Mikel? He appeared in Parliament, and then he he actually spoke to Parliament about the Muslim religion and how it's being villainized.
Well, it is being villainized everywhere you look. It's just people, when you say Muslim, they just associate it with terrorism, which is wrong.
Yeah, correct. And then the way he expressed it, and religion being a peaceful religion, makes you think. Baka we don't know enough for us to judge people who believe in it, diba? So,
Okay. When I was in senior high school yata, may game kami. Sa Ateneo Field pa nga ito, naalala ko. I was playing for Southridge. May kalaban kami yung team na lahat Muslim. Okay? Center back. Tapos yung teammate ko, yung kasama kong partner ko sa center back, mas bata siya sa akin ng konti. Napaaway siya dun sa isang player. So, beside me, nakita ko nag-aaway na sila. So, I went there, aawatin ko lang. Pero napalakas yung tulak ko dun sa pag-awat ko. Lumipad yung guy. Next thing I know, pagtingin ko, the whole team, pati yung bench ng Muslim team, sinusugod na ako. I was like, oh my God. Ako, naka-ready na ako. Mag-isa lang ako. This is how I die. Sabi ko, ready na ako. Biglang narinig ko yung coach nila sa side. Sumigaw, boys, Ramadan. And they all stopped. Like, they all, siguro like, malapit na sila. I was about to die. And then the coach just shouted something, Ramadan. They all stopped. I was like, oh, wow. Tapos sinab ka agad ako ng coach ko. Tago na ako doon sa bus. I think, hanapin ako. But they really listened. And then actually, after the game, nag-usap, everybody was shaking hands. They were so nice. It was just one of those things. But if you just watch the news and watch movies, every time you see a Middle Eastern man or a Muslim man, feeling mo kagad immediately terrorist, diba? Which is wrong, diba?
Have you guys been watching the MMA or
Yes.
UFC, right? And then si
Khabib Nurmagomedov.
Si Khabib just recently retired from the UFC, and he's a Muslim, diba?
Yeah.
Yes.
And one thing that you'll notice about him, and compared to the other people, the other fighters na he fought in the ring, kagaya ni si Conor McGregor, na sobrang bluster and yabang, and he's so low key, he's so mabait. If you think about it, the way he talks, ano lang siya, yung matter of fact, he doesn't trash talk, he doesn't believe in it. When he gets insulted, he just reacts accordingly. Pero actually, the Muslim religion it preaches humility. Yun yung beauty ng religion na yun ng Muslim religion. Kaya pansinin mo yung mga players na gusto natin, like si Salah, Mohamed Salah, ako pala.
Gusto natin.
Sabi na nga ba?
Si Mane sa Liverpool, FC, pag nakaka-goal sila, parati silang lumuluhod sa lupa.
Diba? Si Ozil, diba? There was that famous picture kasi in the Muslim religion, something about food. Binato siya ng food, diba? Ng bread or something, and he picked it up and he kissed it, diba? Because it's part of their belief. It's very, very religious in that sense. And there's lots of examples of the Muslim athletes and players. They take their religion very, very seriously.
Diba?
And so I mean, again, just don't believe what you see in Hollywood. That's the whole thing, diba?
So true. So, I just want to read, a few messages here before we go. Sabi ni Rosie Parks, it's just really respecting each other's beliefs. I got a lot of Muslim classmates way back in high school, and they were very nice. Sabi ni Erickson Bordo, my better half is Muslim and Catholic ako, halos wala kaming issue. Isa lang issue namin ay iyon ay namimiss ko na pork kasi siya nagluluto.
Matuto ka rin kasi magluto.
Hindi na magluto ng spam, Erickson.
Bawal pork sa Muslim eh.
Gumamit ka ng ibang pan at saka ng ibang oil. Huwag ka dyan sa
Tama. Tapos sabi ni Julio 30, si Mehdi Hassan ba yan, Sir Ron? Yes, you're right, si Mehdi Hassan. Guys, Mikel, Eric, check out his YouTube videos. This guy is brilliant, si Mehdi Hassan.
Stop forcing your beliefs down my throat, bro.
Pero watch his speech sa Parliament. Pucha, sabi ko, astig tong guy na to. Sobrang
Natin
eloquent,
yan mamaya, bago
articulate,
matulog.
solid. Parang he's the non-comedian na Dave Chappelle.
Oh, yeah.
May comment si Zephaniah Temo. Tama yan. Low-key propaganda ang Hollywood movies para sa akin. Which is true because most of the Hollywood producers are Jewish.
Yeah.
So, sino ba yung mga kalaban ng mga yan? Ako, nag-comment na yung asawa ko, oh my God, hi Sab!
Inadvertently lang naman, sabi ni Sab. Ayan, Mikel.
Hi, Sab.
Naman.
Behave naman si Mikel for the most part.
Birthday niya next week, so kailangan mabait tayo.
Oh, happy birthday!
Next week. Ka-birthday niya si Vilma Santos, November 3.
Ito yung mga moments that we enjoy about our program, Eric, no? When we see the expression on Mikel's face when after he sees Sab's name on the message board. Parang,
Uy, Sab, manood ka na lang kay drama mo. Huwag mo kami pakialaman dito.
Sabi ni Rainier Roman, speaking of religion, si Senator Villanueva is a bishop sa religion nila.
Oh, yeah.
Talaga? Bishop siya? Man. Oh, tayo na lang tayo ng ating religion.
Iyaman tayo for sure.
Ha?
Iyaman tayo tulad ni Mikel. For
Kaya
sure.
matibuloy. Ucha, meron may
private plane.
Private plane. Oh, ha? Laki ng bahay nun. Saan ba yung bahay niya rin?
Pag hindi ko alam saan bahay nun. Hindi pa ako na-invite. Pero, but yeah.
Anyway, guys, time for our big takeaway. So, let's start with Eric. Eric, what's your big takeaway from our conversation tonight?
Ako, big takeaway ko lang, before all that takeaways and everything, I'd like to thank everyone na nandito sa episode na to. Maraming salamat. Na-miss ko kayo. 1 week akong wala kasi nagkasakit ako. But it's really nice to be back. And salamat sa engagement na nakakatuwa yung mga comments. May mga patawa pa dyan. So, nag-enjoy talaga ako tonight. My big takeaway really, I think medyo nag-stick tayo sa topic ng religion tonight, no? And the differences.
Actually,
One of the
last question na ating topic. Ano yung kinakatakutan mo ngayong Halloween at pandemya?
okay.
Actually, religious talk.
Oo nga, medyo napunta sa religion, no? But anyway, yung takeaway ko lang talaga dito, and it's something that I carry since I learned this phrase, is really embrace diversity. We have to realize that everyone is unique, just like everybody else. Teka lang. Medyo kinontradict ko sarili ko din. Yeah, everyone is unique. Iba-iba talaga tayo, and we really need to embrace diversity. Kasi kung hindi, if you only favor what you believe, it only generates hate. Ika nga ng Black Eyed Peas. Diba? Sabi nila, if you only support your own religion, your own beliefs, your own color, that's when it starts that you generate hate. And that's what we don't want. Na when people keep on hating each other, diba? Kaya in the scenario here in the Philippines right now, no, let's go local dito sa Pilipinas. There's a lot of hate that's been thrown around, especially in social media, especially in Twitter and Facebook and stuff like that. Ako medyo nag-step back na ako dyan because I don't want to add to that hate anymore. Before, sobrang ingay ko sa Facebook, sobrang ingay ko sa social media because I was really pushing for what I believed in. But ngayon medyo okay, step back na ako kasi ayoko nang makidagdag dyan. Okay? Kung meron pa akong mga kaibigan na they're still fueling that fire, sana happy sila. Yun lang masabi ko talaga. But ako, I'm really embracing diversity. I have friends na don't believe what I believe in. I don't believe in what they believe in. But we remain friends. Ayoko lang talaga na mawalan ng kaibigan because of politics and now especially about religion. Kasi
Huwag niyong binabash si Jose Marichan. Magagalit si Eric.
Huwag niyo red tag si Jose Marichan. Grabe.
Tag ni Ron si Jose Marichan eh. Kaya ano ba yan?
Bro, kilala ko yung
Embrace
mga anak
diversity,
yun,
Ron! Diba? So yun lang. Guys, just embrace diversity. That's one phrase na hindi ko talaga makakalimutan. And natutunan ko yan sa boss ko when I was in Citibank. And it's really a good phrase. It's a really good saying, and I live by it now. So, yun.
Huwag kang mata pobre.
Yun.
Ikaw, Mikael.
Yeah, again, thank you to everybody who watched and commented. We have so many of the regulars here, so maraming salamat sa inyo. Talagang nag-enjoy kami pag nandyan kayo. You listen to our humble vlog with our own personal opinions here na minsan may kabubuluhan, minsan wala. But thank you so much. Dun sa unang issue dun sa mga red tagging, I agree. I think we shouldn't be saying people are part of this or that. Let these celebrities say what they want. They're entitled to say it. You're giving them more press when you criticize it and you fight over it on Facebook. If they are sympathizers with the NPA, then that's theirs, sa kanila na yan. You still have to educate yourself. If, wag tayo matakot na they'll be influencing all these people. Just do your part to educate everybody. So in that side, in terms of dun sa religion, na-discuss na natin, love everybody, treat everybody with respect, teach your kids to be the same. Huwag kang, and also whether mayaman ka mahirap, take care of each other. Especially if you have more, find ways to give. Yun yung pinaka-importante, no? Kasi mapapala mo, you die a billionaire, diba? Just try and help as many people as you can along the way. There's people like me who would gladly take your money. So just let us know. Going dun sa tanong ko, anong kinakatakutan mo sa Halloween? Ron, I'm only scared of two things and my wife knows this. I'm not my wife because I'm not scared of her because she's so lovable and respectable. The only two things I'm scared of in my life are snakes and my Meralco bill. So yung costume ko dapat was my Meralco bill kasi yun ang nakakatakot ng mga tao. So kung pwede pa tayo mag-trick or treat, Meralco bill ang gusto kong suotin. Lalo na yung post-lockdown Meralco bill. That was the most special yun. So yun lang naman kinakatakutan ko. Yun lang. So thank you guys. Nice to see everybody. Welcome back, Eric, and thanks again to all our viewers.
Thank you, Mikael. Eric. Let me just thank also our viewers. Zeph. Thank you, Zephanie. Or Zephaniah. Ram, Sabrina, si Sab. I can't imagine the conversation after each.
I think I'm gonna be staying downstairs for a while, guys.
To be a fly on the wall of Mikael's house. That was thank you rin si Eric, kay Erickson, Julio, Jerome, Susie, and Serena. Thank you for hanging out. Jerome, I already mentioned her name. Okay. Julio.
Thank you guys.
Yes, thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching.
Paul.
The program, si Paul, si Antonio, Bertilio. Salamat. And the other guys, si Liza Lee, si Rosie Parks, Mike Lopez, Park Shin Sabate for watching, and Ronald Guerrero. Salamat guys for watching this episode of Istoryang Futbolero. We love football. I'm happy that Liverpool won over the weekend. Natalo ang Arsenal. May game.
Natalo Arsenal.
Talo Arsenal.
Olats.
Talo sa Leicester.
Olats. Alam mo may vlog yan sa YouTube, yung mga Arsenal fans, and they were talking about it. 30 minutes na rant, man. Ako, nag-enjoy ako panoorin.
What you have to remember, Ron, sanay na kami sa disappointment. So, okay lang yan. Hindi kami tulad ng Liverpool na pag matalo lang, wala na, end of the world na. Wala ka ng Van Dijk, kumasa ka pa.
Wala na.
Oy, Champions League this week, by the way. So, I don't know. Nasa Champions League bang Arsenal?
Well, no, my real team, Real Madrid, won this weekend and beat Barcelona. And my
Classico, no?
my favorite player of all time, Sergio Ramos, was the one. So yeah, I'm happy.
Kaso natalo sila sa Spartak Moscow, di ba?
Okay lang yun. Barcelona, pag pipiliin mo ang Madrid fans, sino gusto yung talunin? Itong Shakhtar Donetsk or Barcelona? Barcelona, any day of the week.
Shakhtar Donetsk pala yun. Si
Any
Eric,
day of the week.
panalo na. Na ano pa? Na pornada pa.
Hindi, pero mamaya may game ang Spurs mamaya.
May game ang Spurs. Wild
Kaya nga pinili ko yung Spurs kaya para low expectations lang.
Yeah.
Enjoy
diba,
ka
pag mababa expectations mo, wala.
Less disappointment, di ba?
Anyway, guys, don't forget the basic guidelines of the government. Bida ang may disiplina, bawal ang walang mask, isanitize ang kamay, distansya ng 1 metro, at alamin ang totoong impormasyon. Make sure when you share something, you research on it first, especially if you think it's too good to be true or too ang tawag dyan, medyo controversial or sensational. Alamin mo na ninyo kung totoo yung sinasabi ng kaibigan mo or sinare sa'yo na information. Okay, so bida ang may disiplina. Don't forget, guys. Have a good one. Good night. Stay safe. We'll catch you again Wednesday. The two ladies hopefully will join us, si Sarah and si Celine. Si Eric, sana hindi magkasakit or kumain ng oyster in the next few days.
Sana hindi na.
That's it. Good night. Have a good one. Bye, guys. See ya.
Bye, guys.
Bye.